All right, David. You in there?
I'm in here and we're live. It's 8:57, 7:57 on the East Coast, and give us a few seconds as we get the Dark Side Radio Project Wake Up America live on Facebook. It's 8 o'clock Sunday night, and we promised you a discussion on.
Oh, we're live already.
We're live already.
Oh my God, I didn't know.
Spontaneously combusted.
Wow. We got to fire these people up. Let's go. Studio 10 Broadcasting with the big guy, Dave Glovin.
Studio 10 Broadcasting with the bigger guy, Michael Anthony.
Remember to share, like and share, and subscribe.
This is all over Facebook. And it's live on YouTube. So if you want to be in the YouTube live chat, you have to do me a favor and take the link that will teleport you over to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, or go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And
you almost didn't say that right.
And you can watch it there. I've said Boogie with the Bull so many times that I could probably say it in my sleep backwards.
A little of this, Dave. There you go.
All right.
Now he's ready.
I still have hair on the top of my head. Probably the same amount of hair as my hero Rush Limbaugh had, but I'm all prepared because let me see if I can do this without falling down. If and when the time ever comes that I have no hair on the top of my head, living here in Florida, I have the hat everybody will want. Okay, well, Michael Anthony made.
I'm listening to you.
No. I said, well, you have to look. I have the hat that everybody in America will want.
Oh man, I'm loving it. Hold on, let's make sure we're live. Oh,
well, we are live. Oh my God, you're live from Hollyweird, Florida.
Look at they're loving us.
Live from Hollyweird, Florida. Actually, the scary thing is I can do this, and I can do this, and wait a minute.
Wow, the world's going nuts on us as we get this set up, huh?
It is.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Can you send me the link?
Can I send you the link? I sent everybody the link. I gave
the sharer said they cannot see you.
Well, it evidently does not appear to be. It says we're live on YouTube, but it does not appear to be showing us, which means that we are connected. But I don't.
Oh, they're always behind. Yeah, they're always behind.
Well, this was why I set it up. I set it up a few minutes before, hoping that by the time we went live, we would in fact be live. But so bear with me.
Right, let me see if I can find something here.
Worst comes to worst.
I'm going to see if I can.
I'm looking up at the YouTube channel and I see it there, but I don't see it playing. Although
I'm not even seeing it on. Well, hold on. Let me try something here.
Bear with us, folks. This only happens on live radio that you get to watch. So let me.
Yeah. So. Man, did you see Donald? Man, Donald was fired up today.
Well, it says that we are live. If you look it up on YouTube, it says that we are live, but I don't see it. I don't see it playing live on YouTube. No, I don't see it playing live on YouTube, but it does show that we are live on YouTube.
You know what we should have did? I should have streamed it Facebook. You should have streamed it YouTube.
We could have done that.
I don't know. Would that work like that?
It might work like that.
But all right. Can you send Beth McCord the link? She'll get it out to 100.
I can send Beth McCord the link.
Yeah, send her the link. She'll get it out to 100.
I can in fact do that right now. Let me get in here. So bear with us, folks. I promise you we're gonna have We're gonna have a fun time as soon as
There's nothing fun about what's going on in this world right now.
No, there's nothing fun about what's going on in this world right now. So let me get this over to take me to let me get this to take me over to here. And my iPad, there we go. My iPad has to go to up here, go to Beth, record, and we'll give her. That's the link. That is the link.
Guess.
I just sent Beth the link in Messenger. Beth, you have the link. And if you watch
You're live in the show.
We are live. It takes YouTube and Street Lock and modern technology moments to get going. But I just sent the link to Beth. I looked at the link, and the link is in fact live on YouTube. It's posted on Facebook. So if you're watching it, you have to take the link over to ride the link over to the YouTube channel, and there you will be able to take part in the live chat if there is any. And hey, for the price of admission tonight, it's worth the 3 minutes it took us to get it.
I can't find it anywhere on Facebook.
Well, okay, I put it on. Well, okay, I have to go back out into the Facebook newsfeed.
I don't even think it's on your profile.
I put it on my profile.
All right. Well, I did look there first, so I did.
That was the first place I put it. So give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just so Let
me see. Yeah, it's live on my profile. It's the last post on my page. It's the top post 25 minutes ago. It shows the link. It has my half smiling, smirking face. And it says, tonight at 8 p.m., join Michael Anthony, Bill Muckler, who is off on special assignment and may pop in anytime now, and Dave Logan for War, the Military, and the Issues That Lead to War from Studio 10 Broadcasting of the Dark Side Radio Project. It's time to wake up, America. So it is.
Well, we are live on YouTube now.
We are live on YouTube now. So now I understand that there is a delay from when you tell YouTube to start going live. We had set it up and sent it to YouTube going, so that I figured by the time we went live, it would be set to go. But again, takes another few minutes. So if next time we tell you 8 o'clock we're going to be live, I'll tell you to look for us at 8:05, or we'll just say we're going to start at 8:10 and give everybody a chance to get shared. But yes, Mr. Michael, it is crazy times, and I wanted to ask you, only because I read posts about this last week, that some of the news networks, the Newsmaxes and others, CNN, whatever you want to call, some of them have been accused of using footage from prior Israeli conflicts and claiming that it is in Ukraine today. And there was a guy, Richard T. Riley, did a broadcast yesterday that I posted in the Wake Up America group chat that said he's talking to people in Ukraine, and they're saying that the buildup is there at the border, but there's nothing going on. And I couldn't catch your broadcast the other day where you were going to have the Dark Radio Project connection in Ukraine on, so you'd know more about whether or not what's actually happening right there now than I would.
Well, we can go by comments that Putin's making. That's one issue we can go by. He was being asked some questions, and he's blaming it on us. Not us per se, citizens, on the United States. He's blaming NATO for it. And basically, if you keep pushing me, I'll keep coming. And now the information that I got earlier this afternoon, I don't know. I really wasn't paying close attention to the clock. but the United States is going to get Poland some MiGs so they can get involved to help protect, as well as NATO's going to get involved with some fighter jets. And Putin's telling them like this: for the last 10 years, I've tried to come to you people. I've tried to talk. I've tried to give you our side of it. You never allow it. You're involved in this agenda. The agenda doesn't include us in the way we perceive, the way we want it to be, because it's always your narrative, not my narrative. Our words don't matter. Now we are here in this place because of it. So Putin put it right out there, blaming Joe Obama and blaming NATO and the world nations under, Davos. So all these people that congregate together come up with these plans against people. That's where we seem to be at. And Putin's not going to be pushed away. And he made one other thing. He felt like, in a way, I guess, how would you like it in the United States if you had on the Canadian border and Mexican border missiles from Russia pointing into the United States? Because because the way he's looking at it is their acts of movement and force with this narrative of this whole new thing is not to his liking. He's just standing up for it. And if you go back to 1918, when a lot of these things were established, that's when Ukraine, came to light. And, things have changed now. So that's kind of like what I know today. I know in the past 10, 11, 12 days, there's been a force surrounding from Russia. But Russia is not really trying to act in a harmful way against the citizens. He is acting in a way of protecting the government and the nation of Russia, and the fact that Ukraine will not stand up for itself. And because this is a grandfathered land, a piece of what Russia is, enough has been enough. So that's why he stands where he is in this place that I guess we could call war. The biggest thing is the other things that I'm worried about: Syria, I'm worried about China, I'm worried about Taiwan, I'm worried about Israel. And I'm not trying to be biblical here. There's a lot of narratives of biblical and the 10 kings of the 7 nations and these things like that are out there filtrating around. And I tell you what, if we really start looking at the Bible as an informative document versus anything else, if we just look at it and from that perspective, and I'm not dogging anything here, I'm just trying to enlighten faculties of evidence. There's enough evidence in the book that says this has been illustrated in many ways. Why else would they be calling it? Look for the prophecies of the words in certain passages. If you look up this, if you look up that, you'll find this, you'll find that. Well, yeah, information's out there, and it seems that there's a lead being followed within it all as to how this is all started and the route that we will be on our way within. And if that's the case, Dave, if that's the case, then we will be hit with weaponry that we don't even understand. It goes by EMP, electromagnetic pulse weaponry systems that sends waves out, disorientation, sickness, vomiting. I mean, and they can do it largely. Why can they do it largely? The new Green Deal, the first part of the deal going up with all these transmitters, again, go back to weaponry. That's probably one of the reasons the other day Trump was so fascinated about the word climate over and over. In my mind, I think he was trying to put out there with a certain narrative, listen to my words, do your homework, and you might catch what I'm trying to do here. So, I foresee us to be put into a place through this administration, NATO and Davos, this one world government system who is trying to overtake the entirety of the planet. This is what Putin's fighting against. One of the things he's fighting against. And as he said, as well as Trump making mentions to things. And sometimes you really have to listen to Trump in reverse. You know, Dave, we just got information out of what's in the vaccination.
Yep.
And it's everything we thought and worse.
Yep.
So that came out now.
And
so
in 50 to 75 years, I'll let you know if it did its job on me.
Well, we know now because of a judge that the data we did get, we were right on the money. It's a Frankensteiner. It's a DEA shot without a doubt.
Well, go back to 2018, and that's what they were saying. Coronavirus 19, depopulation 2030. You know,
well, it was 2021, but it didn't work. Yeah.
Well, go back to the narrative that we preached along with Randy Rhodes. That, you know, they told us what they were going to do, when they were going to do it, and how they were going to do it. And this is a classic example. You know, 2018, they started telling us what they were going to do. 2020, people are taking the shots. 2022, there's been, I think you said 3 million deaths in the U.S. already.
I think I was speaking in the manner of worldwide.
Okay, 3 million deaths worldwide, assuming that most of them probably got the shot or weren't just classified as COVID-19, you know, related death. But, you know, they're doing their job. You know, it's like I said the other day, they got eight more years to see if it worked, you know. And I'm still hearing at the dinner table tonight and talking to people on Facebook. They don't think the Republicans are going to flip Congress in 2022, and they don't know if we're going to be worthy enough of being president in 2024.
Yeah, it's scary times because a lot of people aren't looking at the right things.
Yep.
They're getting caught. They're getting caught, and they're getting caught up. The only thing that everybody's caring about right now in this moment is Russia and Ukraine and the convoy. As we stand up, their narrative's working.
Yep.
The leftist narrative is working. And, you know, don't fall victim to what you see is good out there. There's no good anywhere. I mean, the truckers, of course, you know, we got to stand behind them. They could have took other measures, but they decided to do DC. All we can do as good patriots is stand behind them, beside them, with them, share their information. Information Convoy is one of our groups out there on Messenger. If you need to get involved with that, go look for it. Messenger Convoy. Information Convoy. And it has a lot of clarity of data and video clips coming from people from around the U.S. who have joined in. And you'll be able to find a lot of videos and stuff. So, but, you know, Dave, it still comes down to the bottom line. Everything we talked about the other day with me, you, Randy, Bill Muckler, and Jen W. Well, you know, we are just in this place, and it's not good. The sad part is, look, there are some deaths, and you have casualties of war, no matter how you look at it, and it will be on both sides. But this is a disruption of governments, not citizens. You know, and that's the truth. How do we get out of it? Well, there is an answer. There is an answer to get out of it. The problem is I can't talk about what the answer is on this. We can't do it. So you can take those words that I did say into hand and, you know, configure what I was trying to say to you. Nobody's standing up. Nobody's taking measures, drastic measures like that, and which is shocking in a way. You think it's going to come to a point where now with this other news getting out here about what's in these vials, there's going to be some very angry people because they put trust into this government and the government failed them. And the information is going to be catastrophic to people. I watched a young lady tonight who follows me. I'm not going to get into her name, but I mean, you know, she was in tears literally the whole time talking about it, how she was put in a position on pertaining to, you know, the Frankensteiner, where she didn't want her family to do this, and somebody else in her family talked her parents into getting this. And, it's killing her inside that she couldn't have
Yep.
done more to stop it. Or, but again, here we are. And I lost family members who were treated from it, got COVID, went in the hospitals, and never came out. They never made it out.
To kind of put you on the spot for a second, the girl that does the paranormal broadcasts with you.
Yeah. Rosa.
She said anything? Has she, I mean, for lack of putting it in anything other than plain English, is she hearing messages? Is she getting messages? Did she say, like I always joke with you about 3 months ago, was she telling you 3 months ago that what's happening now is going to happen? And is she saying worse?
No. Actually, I haven't been in deep contact with her because of the project that I'm doing all day and how busy I am at night, just relating to the different platforms that I cater to, keeping up pace with that and current news and more. So it's kind of like, it's mind weary. It's burnout. But no. I mean, the biggest thing I can tell you from her is the level of positivity is basically her thing is keep strength, because you are your future, and how you step into it in her mind. You create your own future, and it's true. We all do. There's no lie behind that. If you decide tomorrow you're going to start running, you're going to get into an exercise program, and you wake up and do it, it's because you planned that event. Otherwise, it would have never occurred. Your future would have never been like that. But because it went like that, all these other motions around you went into place and fitted. The fact that you're running down the street and you see Bob and Carol, and you say, "Oh, hey, Bob and Carol," you would have never saw them if you didn't get out of bed to do it. So your future does work with other people as well. Finding positivity to blend into it, that is probably what Rosa would say. That's what I would say, and I'm sure that's what Rosa would say. But no, I haven't been in touch. I usually have her on around the beginning of the month, and I was hoping for more around the middle of the month, just because of where we're at with the narratives and everything going on. I kind of let the dust settle. A lot of people are focusing in different directions right now, as you know, convoy, Russia, Ukraine, NATO, Biden. And did you see, listen, but I think Biden had on Facebook, pretty close to 50,000 people at the State of the Union. Well, today, the media reports that now he went from like a flat 22 to a positive 47% in popularity. And I thought to myself, they're probably right. It's probably 47% of what was on Facebook. And that would be the biggest number. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying to you is, but that was a catastrophic failure. Addressing the nation would be the biggest number. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying to you is, but that was a catastrophic failure. Addressing the nation would be the biggest number. All right, we got double whammies going on. We need someone to turn the volume off.
We got a double whammy, and retired Marine Captain Bill Muckler, who is
we got double whammies going on. We need someone to turn the volume off.
We got a double whammy. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Retired Marine Captain Bill Muckler, who does Boogie with the Bull broadcasts with us all the time and has done a few things with Michael and I, is with us in the house tonight.
Salute the commander.
He was off on special assignment.
Hey, Michael.
How are you, Bill?
And I also apologize. I had to fire a live producer because they forgot to send Captain Muckler the link to the broadcast.
That's okay. I've been listening. You guys are doing good.
Hey, Bill, there's something I wanted to ask you. You say that you, the other day when we were talking, you brought something up, and I just wanted to throw a name at you. You had some meetings, and I don't want no names. You can just nod your head yes or no. Did you ever have any meetings with Bob Odin?
With who?
Were you familiar with the name Bob Odin?
No. I don't recall.
Okay.
And I'm not avoiding that. No, I don't know him.
Okay. It was just a curious thing because I like the secret little things that, you know, some people you know get together on and just have general chit chat with. Bob used to claim that he had his own little knights at the table that he would sit with, and he would give me some informations on certain things. Anyway, he was a real patriot. He was in Project Shock, and he spent a lot of time there in disclosure areas. I'll say. But anyway, I didn't know if you ever ran across him, but he was a trooper, a real soldier, an American guy, and did a lot of good for us, and a lot of different facets and different levels, trying to keep America the best it could be. But yeah, so I just thought I'd ask you if you knew about Bob or Bob Odin. I mean, he held the highest military position that was out there in the United States Army. I know that. And it would have been within your service time.
Did you freeze?
No, I'm good.
Bill?
I was just leaving room for space.
I guess that was me. Mine went out for just a few seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Within your time in the service, did that name come up on anything that you were working on?
No.
Bill? Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, no big deal. No big
Everybody
deal.
knows everybody. I don't know anybody. I don't even know the guy in the upper left-hand corner of your screen.
He was just a very fascinating person. Look into him, Robert Odin.
Okay.
And he made quite an impact on many different levels of many different things. So how are you today, Bill? Are you doing good? And
I'm doing
with
doing
everything
very well,
going on.
Thanks for
All right.
asking.
Have you heard
Very well.
any good mystery news about Ukraine and what's going on? I started off talking to Dave about some of the insight and that was going on, and it was a live media style question interview with Putin, and where he stood on things, and he said he's tired of waiting 10 years for an answer on everything and nothing ever works out or pans out. And all he wants to do basically is, take care of his country.
Yeah, I listened to that conversation, and I don't know if we can trust anything he says. He may be 100% right, or that may be an excuse he's using. One thing that I'm concerned about is how far-reaching is he going to go, because the sanctions of him don't mean anything. I don't know if you all are aware of it, but Putin may be the richest man on the planet.
Yeah, he's pretty strong. No,
He's got mansions and palaces, and he's got his own air force. He's got everything you can imagine. He's been siphoning off billions of dollars. Some people estimate his wealth at somewhere around 200 billion. So
that wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't be enough to be the richest man on the planet. But he's up there with the elites, and maybe
is. I guess there's a few that are up there higher than that. But in any case, yeah. So will sanctions really hurt him? I don't think so, and I don't know if he's the kind of guy that really cares that much what happens to the people in this country. Now, one thing I didn't know if you guys have talked about this and how much anybody knows, but the Biden administration sent an envoy, I think his name is Sanchez, to meet with Maduro in Venezuela about purchasing oil from Venezuela.
Yeah. I heard something about it, but I don't have any facts of truth really behind that.
Yeah, that's going on right now. So we'll make a big deal out of. We're not going to buy oil from Russia, and so we'll get it from a different cruel dictator. by the name of Maduro in Venezuela. And it may be the Russian oil that they're shipping to Venezuela to us, So that's the other thing.
And there won't
we
be
can
no
say-
cost relief with that.
What's that?
There won't. We might get crude, but it's not going to have any cost relief with that.
No, and
It'll just go higher.
No matter what John Kerry says, it's still going to come out of the ground someplace on this planet.
Right. That's true. I agree. And we have the opportunity to turn this around, but, we have an illegitimate dictator in the White House who sees things differently. I mean, you can't call him anything less than an illegitimate dictator, because nothing that of reason that would work. When we face a crisis like this, he looks for all the other answers. He doesn't look right where they lie. And we have all the answers right here in the United States. And OPEC told them straight out, we won't produce more.
Right. OPEC won't produce more. Russia won't give it to us for less. So,
I mean, we can get it from France. Everybody's producing oil except the United States.
Right. And I don't understand that. I just, I think
maybe Bill, with being an author of books, can you do you have any wiggle room in there that might give us some type of inclination as to why he's outsourcing to one particular place when there's various places, countries out there who could provide? I guess if we just ask them, it just takes money.
What do you think, Bill? Where do you think we would get it from? If we weren't going to buy it from Venezuela, we're not getting it from, or we're not going to get it from Russia. What do you think? Would we go to France? Where do you think we would go?
Well, I don't think France produces any oil. I don't think there's any real oil production in Europe. I guess we could get it from the Mideast. But in any case, it's probably going to be Russian oil. It's just going to be handled through a different bank account or a different purchasing order or something like that. We'll still be getting the same stuff.
Let me ask both of you guys, because you're both professionals and you might have the knowledge. Is there enough oil in Ukraine that if the U.S. went in and backed Ukraine and into a democracy or whatever, an ally, whatever, is there enough oil in there that we could make that country a major oil producer? Because it's my understanding that part of the reason Putin wants to go in is he wants to pipeline through that new pipeline he built, Ukrainian oil, which he pretty much seems to have Germany as the largest buyer of it.
I'm not aware that Ukraine has oil reserves.
Okay. Michael?
I do know that they do have oil. I'm not aware of what they can produce.
Okay.
And every country has oil. Did they produce it? How far invested did they go in it because of the other big leaguers that are out there, so they don't tramp on people's toes? And that's what's going on. I can also bring this up. Might make a little bit of sense to some of this as we sit here. United States is supposed to send some MiGs over to Poland, so they have better abilities, as well as they want to. United States is backing the involvement for NATO with fighter jets to become involved. So they're not going to let, I guess, Putin get anywhere near close to the border lines on the upper side of Ukraine. We know that they have three sides that they came in on. And then there's the one big empty side that everybody's, the citizens and refugees are running for to get out of the country. So they must protect the citizens coming in. And that would be the narrative that surrounds that they'll start flying these planes, putting them up in the air, guarding the the airspace and whatnot. Ukraine's screaming, Zelensky's screaming that he wants a no fly zones over Ukraine, sanctioned and put in place. I don't know if NATO can actually, and Davos can actually come up with anything that would allow them to do that this late in the game to keep them out of the airspace of that country. But again, the United States will do what we do because there's beneficiaries in the United States through Ukraine, and the world order sits within the United Nations. So protection must go first where it's needed most. One of the things I think some of this is going down the way it is, and so much fake news is coming out even this way in my mind, is the facts of what we're starting to find out and the material data safety that's coming out on these vials of what is in them. And it's everything we expected plus more. So this is breaking news, but they're vaccinating it. They're muffling it down. They're trying not to let it get out, but we do know that the paperworks have been released. Some people have got it in hand. And these companies are going to have a lot to answer for, because when you look at the material data in this Frankensteiner, or you call it the medication, it's nothing that they described it to be. It does nothing for any of what this was all about under executive order developments and so on. So I think right now we're going to see a different type of stimulus. And that's just my point of opinion. At the border, near Poland and so forth, and where the United Nations lie. And of course, Biden's going to back, and everybody in Washington that's far left as you can go wants to make sure that they have the proper equipment to protect those other areas that they don't want Putin to invade to. Maybe Putin will go to the last inch of the borderline and stop. I don't know. We can only, it's one of those things. How do you analyze it so deep? You don't know. Something that comes into thought to my mind, though, and you mentioned his wealth, Bill. Maybe Putin wants a better position in all this, and they just don't want to hear him out about it. They don't need another levy of control on the control board. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think Putin was ever really a player in that game. Anyway, the border you're talking about is the Ukraine western border, and
right.
As far as the no-fly zone is concerned, I'm not sure exactly how that would work, because now you're talking to my expertise, because I was trained as a Air Force GCI controller, which meant I had the full training and actually did scramble Air Force jets. But I really did that while I was in the Marine Corps. I did my training in the Air Force, and I was the senior air director for an air control squadron. And one of my Marines has been sending me information the last couple of days about the air control capabilities of the Russian Air Force. Apparently, they're severely lacking. So for the Russians to be flying over Ukraine airspace, they don't really have any control over that. Now, how would we stop that? How would we know where their airplanes are? I mean, if let's say a Russian MiG flies over Ukraine airspace, how do we know where that is? How do we do that? Can we do it by satellite? No, we would have to have an air control unit on the ground to detect that through radar, or we'd have to have AWACS aircraft flying up over the Ukraine, or at least on their border, and trying to find out where the Russian aircraft are. So the whole thing about the protecting the airspace and everything, I think that's just people who have no idea what it would take to actually find and shoot down an enemy bandit. I don't think any of them have ever done it. And for somebody who's actually controlled over 500 live intercepts, I don't know where all that's going to go. So, I guess the point I'm trying to make is we hear so much from all these pseudo analysts, and I say pseudo analysts that are on Fox and Newsmax and MSNBC and CNN and all the shows. They're guessing more than we are. They have no idea what's going on. And earlier in your broadcast before I came on, I heard Dave mention something about showing war footage from Israel. Most of what we're seeing from them is from different conflicts, different wars, different decades or whatever. So we don't know what they're showing. We don't know what's really happening there. The only thing I think we do know for sure is this 40-mile long convoy is apparently is stopped dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
So if they can't move, then I don't know how Russia's going to come out of this whole battle with the Ukraine the way it should. In military tactics and strategy, we were always told that it takes a ratio of 3-to-1 to attack a defensive position. So in other words, if you had a company of 200 men, it would take at least 3 companies or 600 men to attack, and defeat your position. It could be as many as 10-to-1, 5-to-1. So 3-to-1, 5-to-1. So the other thing I can tell you is being a Marine officer, the worst kind of combat that any of us would ever want to get into is urban street combat. And that's what we did in Iraq. And that's just miserable. That's just not what you want to do, because you don't know who's going to be sniping at you from a rooftop or a window. You don't know who's going to throw a grenade at you when you open up the door of a house. You don't know if you're going to walk into a place and it's going to be a couple of senior citizens or a mother with a few young children. And you don't know if they're going to have an AK-47 or a hand grenade either. So this whole thing about the Russians going through Kyiv, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not there. I don't think I would want to be involved in that, because I had plenty of training of that in the Marine Corps, and that's nothing that we like to do.
Yeah, understood. To me, everything you were describing is what the United States went through when Antifa and Black Lives Matter went nuts, because it was a tactical war in the streets. And that's exactly what you just described. So a little bit more eloquently than I put it, but now you know what the police were putting up with and tolerating.
Yep.
There's no right to wrong there in protecting yourself, because you don't even know who the enemy is. In most cases, you really don't. It's a guessing game. So no wonder why there was like 13,000 deaths there. And Desert Storm, 20,000. I might have the numbers reversed there. It might be 2013, 13, 20, but I know it was something like that.
Yeah.
But no matter, conflict always comes by the responsibility of governments and governments' actions. And to me, that's always been ill. It's just, it gives me an ill feeling. It's just a toxicity that we live with that's not even needed. But here we are in that. Now, you referred to the trucks. I was hearing that some trucks did make it into D.C. I have
you mean our convoy? No, I was talking about the Russian convoy, the 40-mile convoy that stalled on the roads leading into Kiev. What it is, they're kind of stalled 3 abreast, so that there's no way that they can bring supply vehicles or tankers up to refuel and resupply the convoy there because they can't go off the road because the Ukrainians flooded the sides of the roads to where they're so muddy you can't move in them. So they're kind of stuck there. And also, apparently, the Ukrainians have blown up one of the bridges on this road, so they can't get past that either. So that's the problem that they're having. See, I don't know. I don't believe all the things that I hear on network and cable TV, because I found, I found that it was interesting that Russia didn't really do this until the Olympics were over, and there was reports that Putin and Xi were meeting together, and Xi told Putin, "Don't screw up my Olympics by invading the Ukraine before it's over." So we got the Chinese trying to take over the world, and the world economy be the superpower. And I think maybe Putin wants to make sure that he's got a part of that. And in the meantime, I guess Biden wants to have a part of it too. So he's got the dog wagging the tail, or the tail wagging the dog, I should say, because now, what have you heard about our southern border? Nothing. Have you heard anything about COVID-19? Nothing. What have we heard about anything that's going on in America? The only thing is, people are bitching about the gas prices because they're up to $3.99 in Florida. But other than that, Biden is this is the best thing that could have happened to Biden, because now all of his problems have just magically gone away.
Yeah.
And with an election coming up, hey, he's a wartime president. He and all of his Congress and Senate are going to have to be reelected, so there's no upset. That's the same thing we heard in the 1940s with Roosevelt.
Yeah, history does have a way of they have a way of reenacting history. I'll put it that way. They are definitely savvy enough and smart enough to know how to navigate through these rough waters. You mentioned that the flooding of the roadways and that, did that have anything to do with climate? Because I know in the Vietnam War, we sent in cloud seeding program processes and weaponry. And I know we sunk a lot of our own equipment over there. There's a lot of information on that out there as well. It rained for like 50 days as to how they were treating the skies, figuring it would be a benefit to the United States. And it turned out to be a casualty of war for the United States.
Yeah.
Do you think that they are playing any games manipulating the weather that would cause these roadways to flood, or do you think?
Oh no, they just flooded. They didn't flood the roadways. They just flood the fields that the roadways go through, so they can't. The convoy vehicles can't get off the road and bypass the other road. Once they get off the road, they're stuck in the mud, so to say.
Yep.
They can't move.
Jen was also saying that they were reports of Russian tank pilots running out of fuel in their tanks and puncturing the tanks, so they couldn't go any further. I don't know if these were Russian military that just didn't want to be part of a war with Ukraine, but they were basically just parking tanks wherever they were and puncturing the fuel tanks so that they, in theory, couldn't go any further. Almost like they were trying to block the Russian army from getting into Ukraine.
Yeah, I'd have to see which type of tank that is, because you'd have to go back into some real old school, because that's where exposures to tanks could be gotten to. Modernized tanks, part of the protection isn't within the fuel system. And you just can't get to that to puncture anything. So there I have some dots on, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. There could be something I don't know about, but I don't know if we could get a better description, I'd like to look that part up and see if I could find any the patents on the equipment to find out if they could be gotten to that way. Otherwise, we could be looking at just another false flag, fake news illustration of narrative, the same that that we face every day, where everybody's the big letter 17 is going to come up, and the knight in shining armor is coming tomorrow, and this is all going to be over, and our troops are doing this, and it's really a narrative just to keep us in hope of a hope date that never comes.
Right.
And what happens every time that happens in America? Every time that happens in America, another star or another stripe falls off because people are so locked in to the belief system of, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I don't think we have the ability for some hidden military. I wish to God we did, but I really do think the controls in the control of the White House on all facets of the military. Not to say that some aren't exempt. There are certain fragments out there that are exempt from certain things. There's not many. There's a handful. Are they big enough? Are they strong enough to change this whole scenario? Doubtful. But people believe in their mind that our military is going to gather together and they're going to flip this all around on a day's notice, whatever you want to call that old saying. I probably got it wrong. And I don't foresee it to happen. And I wish people would walk away from the narrative of that, because it's a false hope to keep you in place. So you sit there quietly waiting every day. It's coming. It's coming. It's going to happen. We're going to be back in charge. Trump will be back in the. No, none of these things are going to occur. They're just not going to occur like that. We are in a different. When we had the time to do something to make a difference, our own government systems, 3-letter word, 4-letter word, court systems, judges failed the American people, as well as the Vice President of the United States. He could have created action. He could have made something happen. But he said, no, it was the vote that mattered. The citizens' vote is what spoke and mattered. And he had to protect that. And now we know that there was no vote that did matter, that there was nothing protected, that it was all a farce, and it was a creation of a one world nation to come in and take over the United States of America, which they've done anyway for many years. We're inside this slavery system of taxation, more, and now an agenda that they would like to see come by the year 2030. And I do believe that they are on a narrative to that. Call it biblical, call it what you want. Maybe these books are more of a description of what's to come, not a prophecy, but a direction. And it's all just playing out. And there's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. It all says it will happen, and it won't happen good enough. We'll be hit with electromagnetic pulse weaponry systems that'll stop people dead in their tracks. When people used to get angry, I used to tell them, I says, I understand your frustrations and your angers, and you have every right to have them. But you can never challenge your own United States military, because they're far more superior than we'll ever be. They can fight you at a distance where you'll never harm them, and you'll go home to families that will no longer have a mother or a father. And that's why you don't do these things. In the art of war, you never tell anybody what you're doing. Although on the left and the far left and further out, even into the left, they always foresee to tell us. And we do see it. We do see it like that. You have any feelings on any of that, Bill?
No, I'm listening to what you're saying, Michael, and I think you're making a lot of very good points. And as far as the election's concerned, we've all been told we're not allowed to challenge the election. But to me, those millions of mail-in votes, those phony ballots, changed the tide of that election and all those swing states. I can't believe that was a legitimate election. Anyway, there's another thing that I think could really hurt us now that we're seeing that the gas prices have gone up, which means fuel has gone up for the trucks and the plants that need oil for boilers and so forth, that we're seeing shelves being empty in the stores. And the next thing that could happen that I'm concerned about is Russia now apparently has been working in Cuba, helping them build up a lot of their infrastructure over the past few weeks or months. If they can get in there and hit us with some sort of ransomware, maybe not exactly ransomware, but they disable our internet and our ability to use our
Power grid.
our grid and everything. Boy, we're gonna be in big trouble, and we're not gonna have any food on the shelves, and it won't take too long before a lot of people will be going out hunting for their own.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's probably in ways where we're headed. And I've always promoted prepping, buying essentials, staying ahead of the game. And honestly, I go back 2 years telling people, now it's here. Things are upon us. We will see change. That was my idea of what I felt was coming. And Dave can take you back into those moments where I did it. And a lot of people thought I was a little bit off my rocker. But, were the preppers truly all that wrong? If they were, they'd have never got the notoriety, and the word would have never got the notoriety that they did. People had suspicions. And you're absolutely right. We will see this. And if they were to take out the power grid, they're attacking the elites by doing it. And Putin wouldn't even care, because when he wants to demonstrate authority and force, he'll look for whatever avenue he needs to do it to keep his position. And I can't blame him. In the art of war, that's what you do. However, if something like that was to happen, that catastrophic in the United States, they'd actually be doing us maybe a favor in a way. They'd be shutting down our own government from knowing how to control anything, because they would lose control of that narrative. And then maybe the patriots would really stand up in place. But you would find yourself in a place you don't want to be in. Disease, no water, no cooking. But there are ways to get by. There are ways to manage. And remember, two-way walkie-talkie systems will work, will keep us in touch. It will work through frequencies of Starlink's new satellite system that's been put up there. And that's one of the things I wanted to take you back on. I know it back when you were, in charge, and you were, dealing with the planes and whose possibly they were, and, what altitude they were flying at and which direction they were coming from. Does Starlink enable them to have any new sophisticated ways of seeing through some of these identifications when they show up on radar, as to like whose it could be? Do we know about the how far does this technology go to like separate different diversities of sizes of planes, UFOs, if you want to even call that narrative a fact? But do we have any of that with Starlink, this new system that we have up there? Not the 29,000 other pieces of space junk that are floating around the Earth.
I don't know if I can answer that. I'm not aware of just exactly where we are in that, and we did not have that technology when I was on active duty.
Okay. Yeah, I still don't know if we do. That's why I appreciate you being your honesty, though, because I really don't even know. But I do know we have more newer, sophisticated things in place now. I just don't know the capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure, as we're faced with Watergate, Obamagate, Spygate, here we are in this new sophisticated world of technology. And one of the other comments I always made is how much technology is too much technology. That's a big fear to me. It really is. That there's been systems out there created, or maybe you've heard of them in your duration of time served. And by the way, thank you again. Always, I mean that wholeheartedly for everything done. Do we know about high technology weaponry systems, directional impulse electromagnetic and things of that nature. I mean, we do know that the government military industrial complex, along with organizations, BOEM and more, have studied and created not just aerodynamics for the future, but they also did a lot in weaponry and infrasound systems and waves and patterns like that. Where do we stand with those type of? And then you have drones, which can do so much. Do you know where we are on electromagnetic impulse weaponry?
Yeah, yeah. I heard you mention those before. Yeah, EMPs, electromagnetic pulse. In a sense, they're a nuclear bomb that's dropped and explodes not on the ground but up in the atmosphere. That does not send out shock waves to destroy everything. It just sends out the electromagnetic waves to just shut down everything that's electronic or anything that's electrical. So your car probably would be shut down. Your household would be shut down. Your internet would be shut down. Your phones would be shut down. Everything you can think of. And they typically, from what I've read, they might have a radius of maybe 10 to 20 miles. So you could drop one over the middle of Chicago and pretty much put Chicago completely out of business. You could shut it down completely. So, and I would imagine that Russia or China, either one, has the technology to launch those from either a satellite or a long range missile program. Yeah, we're definitely in a very gullible position. The problem is, I don't know if China or Russia is ready to do anything like that. That's because they think that we can retaliate against them. So it'd be mutually, what was it? Mutual destruction.
Right.
I can't think of the right word for it, but
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah,
I can follow you. Which makes me, I got to bring this up to you then, Bill. Would we do it to ourselves as a false flag?
How did Building 7 all of a sudden collapse at 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
Michael huffed and puffed and blew it down.
Yeah.
No, you probably, I probably answered that question indirectly for you.
I get it. Yeah, and I even post things in one of the these. It's a different kind of group. I call it America Disclosing Uncensored, where I put up everything that coincides exactly with theories like this. And the funny part about it, there was an album cover shoot right in front of the Twin Towers 4 months prior by a band named Coup, of all. So go figure that out. And guess what buildings both got hit by planes and were exploding? The Twin Towers. Yeah. And then 4 months later, the exact same, they had to get rid of the album cover after that because a lot of questions came up and Bush wanted it squashed fast. He wanted it squashed fast. They put everything out there in front of us before they do it in many ways. Yeah. And the Bush family scares me. I mean, look who Prescott was. And then there was a couple other Bush family member names that were out there in the deep state and programs. Even Donald Trump, his own uncle, John Trump, who was, involved in things. And there's a lot of theory and things said about Mr. Tesla and very important documents and weaponry systems and free energy and more. So I think we have our hands on a lot of things. And I think if anybody ever has them, the government has interest in them. And for what purpose? I think the purposes were for all these years of development that take us into where we are right now into the 2020s. And they have things we probably never would ever expect. But again, what did happen to Building 7? It's amazing. But if you think about it, too, they were all asbestos-filled buildings. They all needed revamped. They were all overinsured. They all got paid money. Where it happened to the plane at the Pentagon? It was never found. I have a reporter's clip from that morning a responder from a news media right there, 2 minutes away, hears it coming across the airwaves on the police scanner. He responds to it within 2 minutes, and all he saw was a hole in the building. No fuselage, no wings, no engines, nothing. Nothing was there. And that got squashed. That was something else that got squashed. It's kind of like the Mandela effect. They give you one side of the, and then one of the other more important factors, and this didn't come from me. It came from other people with credentials and good common sense. Why did the building fall 7 minutes after the lady over? I forget where it was exactly. It was somewhere overseas. She's talking about Building 7 being hit, but right behind her in a live feed, as she describes it, the building was standing there. It took 7 minutes for it to fall, yet she reports on it 7 minutes before it falls. So there's another form, I guess, of the rod of God, direct energy weaponry, things of that magnitude. That's what scares the bejeebus out of me for the United States of America, that we are prepared for more. And I think now is the time where we all, if we haven't, that more of us see the awakening of what was in these products that we were attacked with and lost family members over, and all these other narratives that we have lived, and the corruption of what is rage and what is color and what's wrong with just calling an American citizen, no matter what color he is. You had to come from Africa to be called an African, or a Black American African, or you had to come from France, to say I'm French, or I'm Italian, or Polish. But if you're born here, why aren't you just American? These phases and waves that have taken place over all these years have put us into such dark places. All we can do now is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I truly mean that, because I would love to see my flag get its stars back, because to me, it's not that the flag, this great symbol, fails us. It's the productivity behind the governments that kill a flag. And we know that that's a true fact, as well as mankind. And to me, the best thing I could say to narrate around the people that watch me come in, may have interest to listen to our voices and opinions, is take heed. Question everything. Question everyone. It doesn't matter who. And unless you endorse your own people, it will never get better, because there's bad on both sides. You don't put a diseased apple tree in the middle of an orchard to kill it. You can leave one piece of corruption in office somewhere. And if you can't find him and he's able to stay in there, the casualties can all start again, because manipulation starts again. Klaus Schwab in 2017 even said, our young new politicians have all been placed. And he didn't lie. He did not lie. They don't lie. They're not afraid to tell the truth. They are the powers. They are what really is white rage. It's never been us, people of a culture. It's been our own government. White supremacy. Who's always had the leadership in governments? White people. There's your white supremacy. All the narratives flipping hands to go around to pinpoint the problem against the American citizens, the United States citizens of America, the patriots, the ones that went out, bled, worked 12-hour days, and built this country. And isn't it an amazing country? And every country in the world, for that matter. When you get in your car and you take a trip, and it's 1,200 miles, 1,500 miles, 7, it doesn't matter. You go through farmlands, you see every bit of something that man's hands touched, created. For what? For what, when it comes down to it? An agreement to slavery, of taxation, and that's sadness. And it's sadness, but that's how we live. And we've allowed it too long. Bill, I don't try to come off and try to push too hard on people what it means to stand up with strength, what all for one and one for all means, because we lost something there. There was a time where every man in America would have gave up his firstborn for the United States of America. And I think now not that would ever happen again, especially now. This corruption in governments needs cured, but I can't talk about that curement on this program. Nor can I probably ever let the words come from my mouth. I think that says enough to the people as to what I'm thinking. And you can fill in the blanks wherever you need to. But unless you get rid of it all, it's never going to go away. It's just never going to go away. And you made clarity with that, Bill, out of your own words. You said the elections. And that's the truth of the matter. They will always have that ability and executive order power to manipulate everything coming into effect or near to come into effect, whether it's an election, another mandate, another lockdown, another vaccination, or another plan of a pandemic or more. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my butt here a little too much, but I'm just telling you the way I feel, because it's a sense of anger and it's a sense of trying to just promote to the people. We are the people. And unless we stand up, we're doomed.
And we, the people, have gotten too comfortable and too complacent that we're at a point where we don't want anybody to rock our boats, because things are, even as high as the gas prices are and empty as the shelves are, we're still doing okay. So, why rock the boat? And
right,
that's something that the political establishment relies on. They rely on the fact that, hey, we can BS the people into just about anything.
Well, we said that the other day, you, me, and Jen, when I said, I think it's basically gotten to the point where the average American family is still that they get up in the morning, they shower, shave, whatever, get dressed, have breakfast with the family, kiss everybody, the kids go off to school, the wife and husband go off to work if that's what they do, or stay home, and one stays home and takes care of the house. And they turn on the TV news and then they shut it off at the end of the news broadcast. Go, oh, okay, that's nice to know, but it's not really there smacking them in the face when they wake up in the morning. Like you just said, Bill, they get, gas prices are up a little, but you can still drive to the gas station and get gas. It's not like tomorrow we're not going to have gas to sell. I would imagine at some point we won't, but complacency, Michael, is
too relaxed. Too relaxed, David. People are too relaxed. They really are. You're right. I've had to face that myself, and I wound up apologizing for giving my opinion because I wouldn't agree with it. But my fact was, how are you protecting the future of this country, the future of the children's country, the children's own future, in fact, and more? How can you disregard yourself from something so important as that, as well as the fitting of how the United States truly fits?
Probably because now you have the parents like me who are in our 60s. I'm not saying I'm not like this, but you have the parents who are now in our 60s and our kids who are in their 30s. And we're kind of in some mindsets, and I think it's wrong, but in some mindsets, it's like Bill said, we're becoming complacent with what's going on, only because 30 years ago when we were the kids and our parents were in their 60s, they weren't necessarily focused on preparing our kids for the one day that we weren't going to be here. And that's because it happened with their parents. Bill's 87 years old. My father passed away when he was 85 years old, and I'm going to get to it in a second, Bill. My father passed away when he was 85 years old. I don't think part of the reason why he stuck around, his health was so bad, but then we knew he was going to pass. But part of the reason that we think he left was based on writings that we found that basically said he was afraid that we weren't going to be able to take care of ourselves.
Anyway, what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring up something in chapter 2 of my first book. I want to read. I talk in here about the lifespan of a democracy, which always has been typically about 200 years. Ours has been around 250 years now. But here's the stages or the phases that a democracy goes through. It starts out from bondage to spiritual faith. In other words, from slavery or to the bondage of King George the Third in England, for example, to spiritual faith. The next phase is from spiritual faith to great courage, a Revolutionary War. Next one from courage to liberty. The next one from liberty to abundance. Is this all you kind of following along?
I'm following along.
250 years.
Yeah.
And then from abundance to complacency, from complacency to apathy, from apathy to dependence. And this is where I think we are now, from apathy to dependence on the government, and then from dependence back to bondage.
The mystery of the Babylonian.
Yeah. So I'm afraid we're in the phase of our democracy from apathy to dependency. We've got more than half of the people dependent on the government.
Yeah, you're right. And we have like 11.5 million people out of work right now. There has been an ambush somehow in numbers that state that the previous month that we had a boost of 670,000 jobs created. But that's a narrative of some of the money that's starting to filtrate back into place, build back a better America plan because it was held on to. And that's the narrative where the creation comes into place. But yeah, and I apologize for going off that way. I do agree with you that I do think we're in that place because a lot of people really do feel now this doesn't concern me. I can rely on my government. And believe me, I've said this repeatedly. I put it in different words. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, or be a part of the good hands people. That's this whole Joe Obama administration for the for what represents the White House. We will guide you through this. We will teach you pronouns. We will teach you gayism. We will teach you transgenderism. We will teach you CRT. We will teach you new structure. We will teach you the new norm. And you're right. People are compliant to this. Like it's, I can accept it if people want that to choose for it. They will answer for it at another point in time when their life comes to that end. I don't know what resolves will be there for any of us. But if there is any questions to be asked, the greater power will ask it. It will not be Michael Anthony by any means. You're not wrong. But everything you said there, and you may not even know it, reflect all the biblical elements of how the narration of the Bible even works to bring us into this phase. You just described it all. Comes to the point of the time of the 10 kings, which takes me back, which everyone said to me, Mike, why do you call everything 10 o'clock talk, Studio 10 o'clock on my wall? It's because the number 10 is so significant when you look into everything. And you got to look into the past 120 years in order to understand how it's so prevalent and how it's even more than that, more meaningful. The problem is when people do research, they choose to do research upon what people share to them and feel that they've done it and they've gotten to the top of it. The bottom line is you only got to the tip. You didn't even get to the tip of the iceberg yet. You're still a bottom feeder. And if you want to know the truth, you'll learn the names. You'll learn what, where, when, and how this creation has taken place. And Bill, you might be a little aware of this being a book author. Were you ever aware of the think tanks that were putting some of these projects together and these analogies of the 2021 Agenda 2021, Agenda 30, the narration through them with the think tanks and all that? Through the Rockefeller Foundation?
I've done a lot of research on that. I've actually, Agenda 21 came out, and then Agenda 2130, which is the newest UN agenda that's really updating and expanding on the Agenda 21 and Agenda 2130. I've read the entire thing. In fact, I've read parts of it more than once, so I could really understand it and understand how it works. And this is what the political elite are pushing for, is a new world order. And who's behind it? The bankers, not our corner community savings and loan or whatever they community bank. I'm talking about the banks, the Wall Street banks.
Right.
They're the ones who are behind all this, and actually they're really the ones who are behind every war there is, because they lend money to buy arms on both sides.
Yeah.
And then whoever wins pays off, and the winner takes over the country that loses, so they get their money both ways.
One of the exact reasons I brought up the element of Prescott Bush, where a lot of people didn't exactly agree with his funding of the Germans, and again, that was another war we didn't have to be involved in, but we insisted upon being involved in it to some ways. When you really go and start deep diving into it. Yeah. Amazing things. Bill, what does everybody do? I mean, you're the scholar here. You're the person. I don't like to say this. I want to say this with kindness to you. I respect my elders. I really do, because you've seen things I have not. You know things I will never know. You've forgotten more than I have probably ever learned. But that's okay. I'll challenge every day to get as good as you can be, because you're a prime example of what America is. And I thank you for that. But what can you say to the American people to keep the inspiration up, the hope up, the positivity, the best outlook, in some short words that you might be able to suggest to some people in these dire times? Because your own book, 2020, says it.
I think, we have to get to a point, and you're looking for something sharp. I think we have to have something to believe in, and we have to believe in our creator, not our government. And as soon as we can get people to start going back to believing in our creator and not believing in the government, I think that we're going to be on the right path, and I think that'll change people's attitudes.
Dave, what do you think?
I think you're right. I mean, I think it's another time where the complacent ones are tired of being complacent, but they don't know who to turn to. And in not knowing who to turn to, it's like, I don't think any of us, complacent or not, have any faith in Biden, and just see him as the puppet who's dancing, and not everybody knows who is pulling his strings. I don't, we're all the feeders on the bottom. We don't know. Is it Obama? Is it the global elitists? I mean, I personally never thought Obama was that smart, but I guess that he's much smarter than I ever thought he would turn out to be, or that perhaps I ever will be. But it is the Biden presidency really just the third term of the Obama administration?
That's my Joe Obama for you. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's my Joe Obama. That's my theory. I mean, he himself even made statements to the fact, if he could just sit in the background and have somebody else up there while he had a headset set in, he could talk them through a microphone and guide them. Now, I mean, if that isn't the way it looks, I don't know what is, but it's bigger than that. Obama is not one of these, he's up there. Yeah. He's probably in with them in their pockets somehow. He owes them a debt of something. He would have never became president if there wasn't something owed for that. Right. And his wealth to be allowed to be created for himself. Yeah. So if you think about that, so he owes these people.
Yeah, they wouldn't know that $20 million house on Cape Cod, in Martha's Vineyard. whatever it was.
More than that, though, David. More than that. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
we can characterize a lot of different things and hypothesize on a lot of different things. And my way is, it's got to be our way or the highway. And we have to create our own future by taking every next step with caution, but at the same time, positivity. Knowing that, my thought is this, and there was I think he was an army gentleman. Somebody posted it through TikTok a long time ago, but I love his words because I kind of live them. I really do. He says you wake up every day and you start by making your own bed, and that will be your start of focus into your day. Taking steps like that.
Yep.
It was very inspirational and it meant a lot to me. And, I visit a lot of people and I don't see their beds made and it's 8:00 at night. Here I am, this go between just guy with voice trying to help America, trying to be a social worker, trying to discuss social disease of, this parasite of a normality that we're no longer in, of this new norm. And, people do look at us in ways, Dave. I mean, I get mail from people. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. But, it's like the old bartender's saying, I got to be a psychologist behind the bar, because truly people come in for a drink. Most of the time, they just need a friend to talk to. And I feel like I'm that. And if that's all I ever become from what I do, I'm fine with that.
Well, maybe we should have AOC come on because I said the other day, I think Bill, Jen, and I were on and her name came up. And I think I said, I'd love to have her on, just to have her on because she, bartender, she must have all kinds of interesting things she could tell. I really wish I could get her on for that because maybe she's doing so well as a Democrat in the House because she knew how to take her skills as being a bartender and an advice jockey and parlayed it into $174,000 a year job plus whatever, plus the $471,000 that probably goes into her pocket every year. But yeah, I think you're right. And me on the other hand, I'm just a guy who tries to coordinate everybody together and get us on and share some information. And there's not enough minutes in the day for Bill. I mean for Mike, getting tongue tied at 9:24 for Michael to be on with everybody that wants to get him to share the knowledge. And Bill, at 87 years old, you lived the knowledge.
Yeah, he sure did. Hey, let's promote Bill's book. It's 2 for 1 this week.
Bill's books are always 2 for 1 on your birthday.
We're buy one get one free
if you tell them it's your birthday. So tell them it's your birthday, and they are 2020 A Clear Vision for America and 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future. The website is 2020americabook.com. And if you buy one, you get one free.
And you get them both signed.
They're both autographed.
But you can't find them on Amazon because they don't agree with the title.
Yeah, you can't find them on Amazon. So if you want, when you order the book, tell them you want Bill to sign it to Jeff Bozo, another copy you didn't sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are going to use.
That's how you look at it. So it's a 2 for 1 special right now. People support this fine gentleman and his book. Dave and I will promote it as much as we can.
We are going to promote it, and Bill, Jen, and I are going to start doing some in-depth looks at different chapters in the book in the coming weeks. And but get out there and buy the book. Matter of fact, during the week, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday broadcast, I think we're going to give Bill probably 15, 20 minutes near the end of the broadcast to promote the book, talk about more in the book, And because I actually think, and I've only read snippets of it, of what I've been able to see over different reviews online. I just haven't actually gotten down and gotten my copy, and I'm going, or my 2 copies, and I'm going to do it. And I can promise Bill, by the time I'm done reading it, it's going to look like a college textbook, because I got a brand new set of highlighters in different colors.
There you go.
Look and make my notes in the columns, and by the time I get done with it, it'll be something like you want to hope you buy when you go to the college bookstore and buy your major history lesson class. You hope you buy the used one from someone who made all the notes in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Bill,
Thank you.
A quick question before we all leave. Is it real hard to do a book? I mean, when you really sit down to write it, you got to know how to start it. You got to know how to go to page 2 to keep it interesting at page 3. It takes a certain type of person, to me, I think, in order to write a book, because a good book has a heartbeat. How do you do it? Because I do have a lot of stuff, and sometimes I think about it, but I would come up with some title like "The Man That Couldn't Find His Dream." I'm just saying.
That's a good workable title. You should go with that.
Hey, Michael, I got an idea. You got all the information to write the book. Why don't you hire Bill Muckler to be the ghostwriter?
He's probably too busy for me.
I'm working on a novel right now that and I want to answer Michael's question. Friday, I attended a writer's critique group, and there's usually 10 of us in the room. I think there's only 9 this time. And we went around the table, and everybody talked about how they write. Every one of us do it differently. Some people are just adamant that you have to have an outline and you have to have everything completely planned out. And others say they just sit down and they just write. The way I did it was I pretty much had it all written in my head before I actually got it down. And I shouldn't say on paper, got it on the screen on Microsoft Word is where I wrote it, But I pretty much started out with I knew all the in the first book, I knew all the topics I wanted to write about. I wanted to write about the things that the issues that the political establishment has imposed upon we the people that are ruining America, that are destroying America. And so I made a list of like 35 of them, and I boiled that down and combined it down into about 20. And then I just wrote them all down. I kind of put them in order, and here's my 20 chapters. That's part of the book. 2020's got 20 chapters. And some of that got rearranged and got changed as I went along. And what I did then is I researched everything. For example, when I wrote about immigration, I researched immigration. I don't know how many hours I spent on it and how much I wrote on it. And some of it I had to discard, or I threw away, or I tried to condense and so forth to get it. So I had to make it so it'd be readable for people, because I could have wrote an entire book on immigration, but I just wanted it to be a chapter that somebody could read in 20 minutes. I didn't think anybody'd want to read, spend 2 or 3 weeks reading about immigration. So that's pretty much the way I went about it. And same way with education, with taxation, and coming up with solutions for everything. So, if you're going to write something, my thoughts would be, just kind of write down, some of the topics you want to write about, and then just kind of start expanding it from that. And if you feel like you should have an outline, you can do that. And like one of the writers said, they write an outline, and then they start writing all their notes in there under each outline title. They write a bunch of notes in there, and and then they work off of that, and they keep those so they can remember where they were. And so everybody's got their own techniques, and I don't think anybody that writes the same way. And
yeah, I believe that's true.
yeah,
I
and
believe that.
I don't really think I'm an author. I am just a guy who had a bunch of stuff in my head that people got tired of listening to, and they kept saying, "Look, don't tell us anymore. Just write it all down." So I wrote it down.
It's a lot to be said. Well, thank you for that. And if I have any questions, I will never bother you with them, but I might hint around a few things.
No, you can ask me all you like.
Ask
No problem. No worries.
No,
I appreciate you guys doing the show with us tonight.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Michael. Always a pleasure to have Bill with us. And so, Mr. Muckler, Captain, we will salute you. And tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. is a Boogie with the Bowl. General weekday, Monday, beginning of the week. If you're available, Bill, 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Or are you on special assignment?
No, actually, I'm just checking my calendar right now.
You know, your contract requires you to be here on Friday.
Yeah,
Red Wave Fridays are dedicated to people like Captain Bill Muckler.
I will not be here this Friday. This Friday, I won't be able to. But
I'm still going to wear a red shirt anyway.
Tomorrow, I think I can do it. I have an appointment to donate blood to Quest tomorrow morning at 7:50 is my appointment, so I should be recovered by noontime.
Make sure you get your cookie.
I have this nephrologist who he had me having blood work done twice a month and coming in and seeing him every month. And I finally told him, I said, look, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. And he wanted me to take my blood pressure twice a day, and I was supposed to write down everything I eat and everything. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. He said, well, you have to do it. I said, no, I don't. I said, you've got me to a point where all I'm thinking about every day is I got to do this stuff because I'm going to die. And I said, I'm not going to die, so I'm not going to do this. Right. Nothing has changed over the years. Forget it. I'll see you in 6 months. Well, that was 6 months ago. So I have an appointment with him on Monday.
Well, Bill, let me be the first to let you know it's 6 months later and you're still with us.
That's right.
I hope 6 months from now you're still with us.
Yeah. And another thing, boy, you talk about the medical industrial complex. They send you out for tests. They send you blood work, and you have to come in all these consultations and everything. I go to Quest, and I'll go there tomorrow morning, and they give me the paperwork for the blood work and everything. But Quest sends me all the results. I usually get them like Tuesday evening and by email. I go through the whole battery of tests and everything. I know exactly what they are. And if there's something on there I don't understand, I Google it, and I may go to 3 or 4 or 5 sites and learn as much as I can about it. And to tell you the truth, I honestly think that a lot of the patients probably know a lot more than the doctors do.
Yeah, I find that to be true. People are looking into the PDRs and Medical Association and Johns Hopkins and more. They do look things up. They're asking questions. Yeah. That's another new restriction from Google. They don't want to answer all the questions anymore. They want to keep suppression going. So you got to go to DuckDuckGo or one of the other better platform elements out there.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what you could learn, because I like Bill, I have to go to Quest tomorrow and give a specimen because of my last physical a week or so ago. And I have 4 pages, and there actually is a 5th page, and I didn't understand what any of those diagnostic codes were. And I looked some up, and one page I actually found myself, I'm not going to do that test. It's just things that I don't think they need to know. But
Well, guys, I tell you what, I'm going to let you guys finish on. I'm going to go get a quick shower, get ready for bed. I got an early day. Bill, thank you so much. Dave, thank you so much. YouTube and fans out there for Dave, support, subscribe, and you'll love the show.
All right.
I'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, Michael. Take care. Good evening.
All right. All right. Well, that leaves us, Captain. I'm going to salute you. And if you can be with us tomorrow.
I'm send me a link sometime between 11:30 and 12. I'm pretty sure
I'll send you the link about 11:30. We'll go live at 12 noon. And if you're not going to be here Friday, if you want, wear your Red Wave Friday shirt on Monday. And I'll wear one of mine. All right, Bill.
Got it.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Dave.
Good night, Bill. All right, Bill Mockler. Again, the author of 2020, A Clear Vision for America, and 2020, A Clear Vision for Our Future. The books are available through Bill's website, 2020americabook.com, 2020americabook.com. You buy one, you get one free. They can be signed to you or someone you want. They make a very good gift. I'm going to get mine. Also, Bill runs an offer that if you buy the 2 books for your birthday, you get one of the books free. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. And if you tell them it's your birthday, you'll probably get it anyway. But the books, again, 2020, A Clear Vision for Our Future, and the previous book, 2020, A Clear Vision for America, on sale now. And you should read them. And as I said, we were going to have Bill on a bunch of broadcasts. We're going to do an in-depth look into both the books and Bill's experiences as he wrote the chapters of the book. Bill brought up that he attends a writers group periodically, and maybe we'll find some writers that have similar books to Bill's, and we'll bring them in as well. If you're a writer of a book and you have a book that's relative to living in the United States of America or the world right now, and you're a conservative or a patriot, and you're more than welcome to come on to a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, and we will discuss it. Or you can come on to the Dark Side Radio project, and we'll discuss it. Anyway, I do want to let people know that, yes, there were some technical difficulties at the beginning getting things running. So at the beginning, it does kind of look a little amateurish, but you know what? I'm that kind of guy. I like people to see what's going on when we go live. It shows that I'm human, just like anybody else. So there was a rough start at the beginning. We were all over Facebook, and we were on my profile on streetlock.com, STREETLOC, streetlock.com. That's my alternative to Facebook right now. I'm a co-admin with Miska Simpson of Streetlock News in Convoy to DC 2022, the People's Convoy. We also have the Wake Up America group, which is the same as the Wake Up America group here on Facebook, and the Messenger group chat. Also, Wake Up America is coming to MeWe tomorrow with a group and a chat group. Going to give you the double whammy. If you're on MeWe, you'll have both the group and a group chat. And there are rumors this week that Wake Up America chat group here on Messenger is going to debut on Telegram sometime this week. Also on the APR Telegram broadcast channel, you can watch tonight's broadcast of the Dark Side Radio Network. And we'll be plugging a lot of other programs into the APR Telegram broadcast channel. So now I'm going to tell you that if you've ever thought about doing a broadcast like Boogie with the Bull, the Dark Side Radio Project, Studio 10 Broadcasting, what Michael does, what I do. Even Beth McCord has done it a few times. Jen Woodruff does it with us all the time. Bill Muckler is doing it with us a lot. If you thought about doing a broadcast and you're not sure how to go about it, well, message me. Let me know who you are, what you think you'd want to discuss, and where and when you would like it to be available on social media. And what I'll do is I'll bring you on to the 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Boogie with the Bulls. You'll do all three in that week with us. We'll probably give you one day of the week, probably Monday, to program yourself, have your own guests. If you wish to have guests, would just be a part of the panel with those of us who are on that day. Then we'll also bring you in on a weeknight for a Boogie with the Bull 2.0. That's our 8 o'clock to 9:15 in the evening broadcast. And you can do a couple of them with us. I might throw in a Boogie with the Bull Saturday afternoon at the Bull, our 6 p.m. Saturday broadcast we do periodically, and just give you an idea to see in different time slots that we're in, how it works. And if you're comfortable and you decide you want to go on and do your own, we will give you live producing access through our StreamYard connection. We'll link you to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, which is what we're on right now. And we'll post you everywhere we are. Like I said, we can get you posted all over Facebook. We can get you posted all over StreetLock. We can get you posted on MeWe. We can get you posted on Gab. There are a lot of websites that we may be able to get you figured into, and we'll just get you going. We don't do this for money. Sometimes I do talk about having to monetize this, some money to pay for this and pay for that. That's about the only monetizing that we will ever do. StreamYard will cost us $25 a month, and I'm always talking with different benefactors of Boogie with the Bull that will help cover that. There is also the possibility of doing something with APR and their Telegram broadcast channel, and I believe StreamYard and some other things are already in the works there. Jim Kelly and I are talking all the time. We're ready, set to rock and roll. If you are on Telegram, message me on Facebook. If you're on Telegram and you're on Telegram, I will get you an invite to the APR Telegram broadcast channel. It's fantastic. I mean, I have just watched it here and there a few times, and there is stuff being posted 24 hours a day, broadcasts you can watch, video clips that you can watch. So all I can tell you is that if you really want a major place to expose the broadcast that you do, get a hold of me on Messenger, and we will get you onto the APR, American Patriots Rising, Telegram broadcast channel, and we'll link you around from there. Again, we'll get you onto Facebook, we'll get you onto MeWe, we'll get you onto Gab, we'll get you onto StreetLock. We're still working toward the hopeful eventual beta test on StreetLock when they launch StreetLock Live later this month. So, I mean, a lot of things going, and I want everybody to be involved. Just really want everybody who wants to be involved. This is not one of those broadcasts where, like the big stars, where everybody walks in, they get handed a script, and they only say what they're going to say because they're afraid they'll get booted by their broadcast network employer or whatever. No, we're a bunch of human beings just sitting here having a conversation, trying to keep our voices down so we don't bother anybody else in the Boogie with the Bull complex late at night, and just having a good time. So, I created Boogie with the Bull because I wanted everybody to just get together and have a broadcast. The live chat tonight was on the YouTube channel, and didn't really go. But tomorrow it'll be the same thing. Tomorrow's 12 noon. Boogie with the Bull will be on the YouTube channel, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. It'll be on Facebook, and it will be on StreetLock. It will be shared all over Facebook. It will be shared in a few places on StreetLock, and we're just going to keep going. So if you want to be a part of the Boogie with the Bull broadcast, because right now we can have 6 cameras going, so 6 people can be on a broadcast at once. Generally, there are 3 or 4, because usually Randy Rhodes is with me, Jen Woodruff is with me, Bill Muckler is with me, and I'm with me. So there's 4 of us there, so that leaves 2 on some days. Also, pay attention to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, the Telegram broadcast channel, and MeWe, StreetLock, and Facebook, and a few other places where it may show up. But Randy Rhodes is rumored to be joining me on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for a broadcast that, yes, that as of yet does not have a name yet. It's Boogie with the Bull something. I just haven't figured it out yet. It might be Boogie with the Bull Wake Up America. It will run every Tuesday and Thursday, either at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. It depends on schedules here within the Boogie with the Bull studio complex and whether or not the studio is available. So make sure you catch that. I'm assuming Jen Woodruff will be with us tomorrow. On Monday, Bill Muckler said he would be on with us on Monday because Bill cannot do the Friday afternoon Boogie with the Bull, the Friday free-for-all, which is our Red Wave Friday broadcast in honor of Bill Muckler and any other service member that watches us. We will all wear red tomorrow for Red Wave Monday, because Bill won't be with us on Friday. On Friday, you still have to wear something red for Red Wave Friday. And in the near future, maybe, just maybe, we will put together a special Boogie with the Bull, the Friday Free-for-All Red Wave Friday edition t-shirt or a hat or something that you could wear and show your support of the United States military, said to be the finest military in the world. I believe that, and I may be the only one who says it, but I believe it, and I have a great deal of admiration and love and respect for the men and women that make up the United States military. Matter of fact, we have a page, The Few, the Proud, the Deplorable, and a private group, The Few, the Proud, the Deplorable, that back the men and women of law enforcement. We back the blue. We back the military, the men and women of the United States military, wherever they are around the world, as well as here in the United States. And we back anything that Facebook considers deplorable, including this broadcast. And when this broadcast is not on Facebook, they probably find that deplorable too. In the Wake Up America group chat, you've seen ramblings from me that predict that it is quite possible that the power of FB and false news violation and community standards violation, censorship, has made its way into Messenger. Don't quote me, so be careful, but that's all I will say to you on that. That's part of the reason why Wake Up America is looking at moving on to Telegram and continuing to grow as a group chat that you want to be involved with. Anyway, it is now 9:50. You got to go to bed at 10 o'clock. We were supposed to put Delilah to bed 20 minutes ago. So go off and enjoy the rest of your evening. If you were in the live chat, Carol Lee, thank you for watching. Up at the top, Holocaust Baker, thank you. And if I didn't see you in the Boogie with the Bull live chat and I missed you, come tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern and yell at me and tell me why I didn't mention you. So go enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Have a fantastic week. Drink a cup of coffee for me. I'll have my first cup early, and when I sit down at the desk at 11 o'clock to get ready for Boogie with the Bull Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'll probably have another cup, and we'll go from there. Matter of fact, bring your cup of coffee or something with coffee in it at 12 noon tomorrow, and we'll talk about that and anything else that happened over your weekend. I'm Dave Wilman. You're not. There it is. I did say it. I'm glad you joined us. Had a very good time again with Michael Anthony from Studio 10 Broadcasting and the Dark Side Radio Network, and Bill Muckler, who is an active part of the Boogie with the Bull broadcasts, and a lot of other things. A lot of things in the works. You might see some more Dark Side Radio broadcasts in the next few days and weeks, coming from the Boogie with the Bull side. We always want to be part of the active network of conservative and patriot citizen broadcasters. So look for those things as well. So I kind of looked down at the clock. We went at 8. We went live, and we really didn't show up live until 10 o'clock. Until 8 o'clock, 8:10. So we learned that we have to kind of wait 5 minutes from when we think we're live from StreamYard onto YouTube to make sure that we are live. So we probably could have waited another 5 minutes. So tomorrow, what we will do is we will tell everybody 12:05, you'll be able to watch Boogie with the Bull, and we'll probably set it live going at about we'll set it live a little early. We'll set it live about 5 of 12, 11:55. We'll set it live, so you'll be able to sit there and wait for it, and then we will go live at 12:05. That way we won't have the gap that we had today. Anyway, thank you to StreamYard. You'll see up in the upper right-hand corner there our live stream service. Thank you for YouTube for letting the broadcast run. Thank you for Facebook for letting us post it and invade people's lives on Facebook. Special thanks to StreetLock, StreetLoc.com. Go take a look at it. Don't take my words. Just go take a look at it and see if it's for yourself. If it is, then, like I said, Convoy to DC 2022, Wake Up America, Trump America, and the Constitution Group. There are a lot of new patriot and conservative groups landing on StreetLock, so make sure you join them and you are active in posting in all of them. And I tell people, if you're active on Facebook and you pick up in one group and you share it to another group and then you take it with you and go to Mealy and post there, and then you go to Gab and post there, well, join StreetLock and go over to StreetLock and post it there. So anyway, that is what you need to do. Good evening, ERM Cool. Good evening, ERM Cool. Pleasure to have you here. Stuck in under the wire. Going to pull the plug because I do have to go to bed. I have to be up at about 6 a.m. and I get to go visit the vampires at about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And get a sample of conservative lab rat of Facebook blood to make sure it's still there and how well it is working. So those at Quest at the Walmart in Fleming Island, you have now been notified that I will be there. So be gentle, okay? There's a baby fine needle on my right arm, and I'll be out of there faster. By the time you get the needle in, it'll almost be time to take it out. So, good night, America. We'll do it again sometime tomorrow, 12 noon on the East Coast for Boogie with the Bull. Good night. Oops. Double B's for victories. Another Boogie with the Bull has come to an end. Thanks to the family watching TV in the living room. It appears that they watched later than 9:30. So it's time to say goodnight. Delilah, Dee Dee, say goodnight.